Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Makoto Man at YouTube with another model video, day 2 in Tank Week. Today we'll be building and reviewing the Japanese main battle tank Type 74. 100 yen, a very cheap, fairly unknown brand. I assume it was the Chinese manufacturer. Had a little motorized toy components to it, and probably sold in supermarkets, convenience shops, toy stores, lolly shops, that sort of thing. The Type 74 was commissioned during the Cold War and is a part of the Japan Self-Defense Force. Would have most likely never have left its country, and I'm unaware of any conflicts that could have been potentially used, though you do see it in quite a bit of pop culture, magazines, anime, that sort of thing, depicting almost futuristic or sci-fi conflict. The box is quite old. The injection moulding is very primitive and thick, poorly done as well. The decals are absolutely aged to destruction, so I could tell it's quite old. 100 yen is about $1 with inflation and whatnot. Probably still wasn't worth much back then. Another sticker depicting $2.20-ish, so it wasn't worth very much. There's also a lot of evidence of cost cutting. I was greeted with an unmolested plastic bag, the instructions printed on the inside of the yellowing box, a bit of information here and there, as well as two metal sheets folded over each other and plastic gears inside with a loaded spring. Now, this is meant to operate by wheeling it back as far as you can on two textured wheels, and it should be able to go on its own steam. I cracked open the steel little motor box and attempted to assemble it and fix it to make it work, but once the pin falls out, it's pretty much fucked. I did retension the spring and got it together and working. Unfortunately, there was space between one of the cogs and the cog on the drive wheel. There was a bit of a rattle, and even though about 1 out of 10 times I was able to drag it back and operate, it was very difficult. This was due to the brackets inside the metal case being improperly measured out, cut and stamped, without actually removing the metal case and remaking it out of brass for a much tighter fit. There's no practical way of actually making this operate, or at least this particular toy, due to manufacturer error. I did really like how the two metal cases, as well as the box itself, has these little tabs that you can fold and insert into the plastic. That was very clever in not needing the use of screws traditionally with other Western types of kits like this. It's very reminiscent of the 70s, 80s era of model kits for the sake of toys and kids. The rest of the kit is under 10 styrene parts. It all fit together very well. Definitely advertised as snap and snap without issue, even though there was two tiny separating seams that were clearly visible from the front and rear. Still a throwback to the age. The raised chunky detail is very enjoyable. The proportions is definitely way out of whack, and the wheel assembly is just completely not appropriate for the tank, though a lot of the components could also be considered for other tanks made by the same manufacturer, as they've got ships and boats and cars and other things. Getting straight into painting, everything was primed with Tamiya lacquer primer, followed by a coat of Guy Note oxidized red as an undercoat. Via airbrush, no shading, still going for a bit of a toy look. Mr. Hobby colour lacquers were used to colour in each of the pieces, only touching the ends of the motor and not painting the motor itself. Snaking out some blue tack for camouflage, loosely based off the box art and some reference materials showed at the start of the video, and painting the top half green. This followed by the wheel details and parts of the hull being hand picked and hand painted details with a fine brush, including the tank treads, tank tyres, and lights and windows. A tool on the side as well. A little black was airbrushed around the muzzle of the gun and the vents. Some Japanese girls and panzer decals were applied, followed by a coat of SMS clear matte, a wonderful paint, and a top coat of SMS black wash to pick out details. Now, as much as I like to historically replicate tanks and armour and appreciate their scale, size, detail, specs, and all that, looking at older vintage kits are a lot of fun to see how much they can recreate the likeliness of an armour or piece of equipment with the best they had, and then sometimes put it in budget restraints and market it as something like a toy. There's a lot of very charming, unique features in vintage kits which is not replicated anymore, besides the odd Matchbox and Airfix kit, and not really shared around online. So I do appreciate it is highly inaccurate and really, really strange, but in that itself, it's quite nice to appreciate, and I'm quite lucky to have got it, built it, and displayed it here. It's also a bit of a breath of fresh air to do something as strange as this. The colour scheme is quite clean, a lot different from the kit from yesterday, and again, Gills and Puns decals applied to it due to its slightly silly nature. It stands out and just really comes across as what it is supposed to be, a collectible on display. I'm really happy with the finish achieved on it, with a few finer points of the airbrush, a little bit of dusting of the vents, neat hand painting, and the wash really brings everything out together and holds it into one piece with a neat matte finish and definition of the wash. All in all, this is the exact finish I aimed for and really wanted to achieve, and I'm very happy with what I have here today and the second effort in day 2 of Tank Week. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, stay tuned for further content and catch you guys later.